Just tell us what you have to say. We know the dreams and nightmares must light your way. What may come, the fight goes on for one more day. Whenever lives and prayers must die away, who brought this curse and led us all astray? The day has died and emotion is fade. Wake up, my friends, the dreams and nightmares will die for just one more day.
Welcome back, everybody. So, I don't think there was really any bookkeeping because we didn't do anything other than have a whole bunch of guesses for who this Ryan fellow was. So, yeah. Last time on, we ended the session on right after a couple-month street war with a bunch of homeless people.
I was magnificent.
Josh kind of like taking over, or I should say, Jameson taking over Transit's little political maneuverings. Like, oh, hey, yeah, you're making all these nice little nice places for people, and yeah, I'm just gonna like take it over with my fucking army of murder hobos
and hookers.
They're obviously Digger's army. It's not quite the same as Dumbledore's army, but pretty damn close.
But I thought the whole purpose of the homeless shelter was to help Digger.
I thought it was largely to try and get yourself in some good graces. But
well,
I mean,
there's also that. That's a side bonus. But
and then Myriad's all like, you know what? Good excuse to utilize my skills here too.
Toby, the enabler.
That's right.
Hey, I do need to take them from crazy homeless people into somehow appropriately conditioned and well-rounded individuals who can worship. So yeah, we kind of need the homeless shelter.
Fair enough. All right, so when we had left off, though, we were dealing with the aftermath of all this and the round of backpats and whatnot, and a city that is now nearly devoid of organized crime to body count.
Wait, I have one more thing to say.
I'm
Batman.
Apparently, you're far better than Batman.
Hold on a second, I need to do something. I know he's the one doing the recording. You got shoved in the corner for a second.
Right. We really need to put something in there to make people aware that they're in there. Like maybe like a music bot that consistently plays some form of annoying song.
That never ends.
I can do a recording of me singing "This Is the Song That Never Ends."
Oh God.
Only administrators can get themselves out of the corner. Well, anybody can leave the corner, but they have to actually, like, hang up on voice.
Anyway, so I guess before we really get into things, there is one little bit of bookkeeping I did want to bring up. You guys are able to invoke the campaign aspects, and the third one, the whole thing about the voices and all that jazz. You can use that one if you're up for it to try and be. I'm going to spend this fate point. I want to invoke number 3, and I need direction. Like if you're stuck on something, I can probably pull something out of my ass. So, just
I need a third fate counter.
You have a third fate counter.
There's only 2 on the screen for me.
Well, your screen is wrong.
Cassie handed me her putty that she had made into this nice little flat spiral. I pulled it apart. She's staring at me, pouting, just like, why would you do that? Just
Wait, what? What did she hand you?
A thing of putty that she made into a pretty shape, and then I broke it. And she's like, why would you do that? And there's just as a universal reminder for everyone on the internet, because I'm a terrible person, and I destroy happiness. That is apparently like the one thing I'm good at. Anyway, so where we had left off, somebody had knocked at the door. Who answered it? Was it? I think it was either Toby or Jameson. I can't remember.
It was Emily.
Oh, was it Emily? It involves social interaction. I can't really be held accountable for assuming that you were the one character avoiding it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I know it wasn't me.
It might have been me, but I thought it was Emily.
I really don't care enough. So what we're going to say is that regardless...
So the door was opened?
The door was open. We're going to say that Chloe's in front of it because...
No, it was me. I did say I would go ahead and do it because everyone was just like really quiet when you said the door was being knocked on. I was like, fine, I'll go do it.
Emily, the pragmatic roleplay game player. Anyway, so... if I'm remembering right, I described him as bald and fairly average in just about any and all respects. But
and sad looking. You described him as sad looking.
Pretty much. I mean, that is kind of the gist of it. One thing that I did mention yesterday, because I forgot to put this in, that whole thing of how he feels like divine static rather than like an actual like charged presence or whatnot, is this gentleman, not just does he feel different, he feels wrong. Like specifically your little we can sense divine and spiritual stuff makes it this guy feel like he doesn't belong. Like what most people think of when they see a horse that has like a dog's mouth superimposed into it instead of a horse's mouth.
That picture was amazing, and I want that horse.
I know you do, and that's why I said most people. I'm pretty sure Jimmy was also sitting there like, I can think of a few games to use this in.
I honestly did appreciate that horse. It was smiling so good.
Oh, the kind of creepy looking horse? I did like it.
It was a good horser. It's not a pupper, it's a horser.
You know, I'm not saying that I wouldn't want it. It does look like good story fodder, though. I'm not gonna lie.
That's what I'm saying. How most people would react to a picture like this. You know. Thing.
Good horse. It's the good boy. It looks like it's such a good boy.
For those of you on the...
It looks like it's gonna devour your children.
But it's also the best boy.
That's how you know it's such a good dog voice. Like, pesky, pesky young human spawn. Let us feast upon them.
Also, Matt, I also do not see the third token for Digger. Is it on the wrong layer?
Digger doesn't have
You
a third
mean
token.
Or not Digger, Toby.
Oh, it was. Oh God.
Oh, there it is.
Take it away.
I did have a third token. One was just on top of the other.
Okay.
At least it looks like that on my screen. I doubt that.
It's the best horsey.
So,
Such a good boy.
the feeling that this picture would engender in most people, I would assume that they would feel like, you know,
Anybody that's not in our chat group, apparently.
exactly, because we're all terrible fucking people. So that is the feeling that this guy, the what you sense from him as a divine creature, that is the kind of feeling that you get from him. Like, this is wrong. It shouldn't be like that. Nothing in his appearance would do it. It is just his whatever sort of spiritual essence that he has that you guys are picking up on.
So is the fight or flight mechanism kind of kicking in?
That's up to you.
Because if not, I was about to Captain Hero myself out of this.
I was gonna say, Toby could just open a door and walk through it, be somewhere
That's
else.
right. Save yourselves.
Nope, fuck this. I'm done.
Toby is rapidly becoming the party member where every single time something's about to go down, he just jumps out a window.
It's like Deflated Mouse from the cartoon of the Tick. Every time they shine his signal in the sky, he leaves town for a week.
I was gonna say he's like Scooby-Doo if they didn't have, or yeah, Shaggy and Scooby if they didn't have people actually forcing them to help.
Yeah, there's no demigod snacks around, so sorry.
I don't
Would
know.
you do it for a Toby snack?
To be fair, Chloe has been hanging out with a bunch of hippies. May have brought back some baked goods.
Hey guys!
Oh
You
no.
want a brownie?
Alright, anyway. Weird bald guy. Feels wrong.
He said his name
His
is.
name was something.
Richard Xavier. No, it was something Xavier Richards.
Ryan.
It's
Xavier
in here somewhere.
By the way, anybody who's watching this, if you have any guesses as to what Ryan is and whatnot, send them to me. I'm curious because I've been getting shit for a week and I just keep giggling like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. None of these are right.
Alright, well, first thing I'm gonna do is shut the door in his face. Turn around. Look at everyone. Did anyone else see that? Or am I just
Here's
freaking
five
out?
on the other side of the door.
Digger has not been paying attention.
Wait, you hear what?
You just hear a sigh from the other side of the door.
I reach past Chloe. I open the door again.
Right as you open the door, you hear Digger, who hasn't been paying attention, basically state, "Who was it? Mormons?"
Also, how is the background music that I set up?
I can't
I
hear
cannot
anything.
hear anything.
Backgroundy.
Very.
Very, very
That's-
backgroundy.
I bet.
So are there Mormons? I'm confused. Can...
I mean, if apparently Jesus is the demigod of wine, I mean, we can allow Mormons.
Oh, okay.
I mean, we've allowed one actual, that we have a reference to an actual, real world religion. We can allow a joke too.
Okay. Just making sure.
I'm surprised that didn't get more of a reaction, because I just called the entire Mormon faith a joke.
I don't think any of us were going to object to that.
By the way, you guys want to hear what the punchline is? Scientology. And if you're offended by that, I sincerely apologize. That your religion is also a joke. And yes, I have stolen that from a stand-up comedian, but get the fuck over it. Moving on. So, Digger's like, was that Mormons?
So I'm starting to open the door again.
He just seems kind of not so much dejected, but just like, yeah. But you can tell on his face he thoroughly expected that.
After a moment of like bracing after that feeling of wrongness that she feels, Myriad's like, she's visibly composing her face. I'm sorry about my companion here. What was your name again?
My name is Ryan Xavier Richards. Though I suppose that is less important. I needed to talk with you because I am the prophet of freedom.
The what?
I am the prophet of freedom. Which, by the way, guys, subtle thing. That's another one of, like, the moment he says that, you also, again, spiritually, this feels fucking twisted.
She looks at him. I'm sorry. Prophet of freedom?
Mm-hmm.
And Myriad glances back toward the others. See if any of them have anything to say.
I'm actually just trying to stay out of his line of sight.
Even though he already said you four.
Yes.
Digger's at the table, looking thoughtful.
Oh, I got it. Some kind of suicide cult. Bye.
No. Unlike you four, I have not spent the last few years attempting to build a cult around myself.
Now Digger pipes in. All hail the tunnel snake.
I believe
Why?
there are a number of matters that we need to discuss.
I'm sorry, but what is a prophet of freedom?
That is what I'm here to find out. All I know is that I was supposed to find the four. Over the last few years, you were the only four that have been in an actual functioning group of some sort. And so therefore I believe that you're the four I was supposed to find.
That is kind of sad and disturbing.
Sorry, I'm kind of amused by the fact that that we have apparently been functioning in some group when both Chloe and I have kind of been doing our own thing.
Well, technically, Mari's been helping Toby a lot.
And I'm going to throw an interjection. Cassie, that was an out-of-character comment, correct?
Yes.
He looks at you and he says, "Yes, but you have all been colluding together."
What?
What? Because that wasn't even something that Mari was thinking. She closes the door.
So.
Hey
Hear
Toby.
another sigh from outside the door.
Toby?
Well, he was right.
I don't know who he was talking to, though. He's wrong.
Wrong.
You hear him try the doorknob.
Toby?
What are we doing this in turns now?
No, like at this point, it's not even he didn't knock. There was no knocking. You now just hear him trying the doorknob. I'm giving you a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I'm assuming Mari did not let go of the door.
No.
So you feel him turn it, and even though you have a grip on it, like you're in your mortal guys, you know, it's a freaking doorknob. It's kind of hard to stop somebody from turning a doorknob.
Toby, he's trying to get in.
No, he's not. That is closed.
Thank you. That's why I was calling out to you, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I would like you to roll. The way is open.
Alright, give me a second. I gotta load up my character sheet. Or bring it up.
Okay. Holy shit!
What the fuck?
So that's what happens when you roll nothing but pluses, apparently.
Yes,
So-
it is.
Okay. So besides that, here's how this works out narratively. So, Mari, you looked at Toby. You called for he's trying to get through the door. Toby, you didn't even have to. You don't even have to raise a hand or anything like that. You just motion or
Just look at it and it locks.
Yeah, and so you all feel Toby's power because this is your big power. This is the thing that you are demigod of. This is a power granted to you by your divine patron, and you feel that much greater of a power on the other side of that door as he pushes
Oh.
open. But at the same time, like, you don't feel like when you did it, when Toby did that, you felt transit underneath Toby. You felt that pure, unadulterated divinity. This guy doesn't feel any different. You didn't feel that a spike. You didn't feel a spike in power coming from him that would match what he just did. Cassie, you're muted.
They heard me anyway. I am backing the fuck away from that door.
Yeah, so am I. Well, I'm backing further away.
Hey, so where do we keep the knives?
Where do we keep the extra doors? So that we could go somewhere else.
Everyone, just relax.
He hasn't even actually stepped into the room yet. He just pushed the door open. Just kind of let it finish swinging after once he had it opened. Are we talk now? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
Digger from his spread out he's like, so, Prophet of Freedom guy.
Or gun?
What exactly you want?
I needed to find the four so that we could understand what destiny you four have. To that end, I need to see what path you have chosen. But you,
I gotta mute for a second.
I do not intend to interfere or assist with your endeavors in any way. All I know is that it was of the utmost importance that you know I am here.
Okay. Well, we know that you're here.
Hi.
Exactly is here.
In your doorway.
Well, I meant in a grander sense, like, where are you staying in the city? So that if we need you, I guess we could find you?
Did we need to know you were here in the city or know you were here in the...
That I am here to see you.
to see us?
To observe the path that you have taken, the path that you are taking, and to observe how you walk on it. Because your decisions will shape the consequences of this work.
What work?
Seriously, what if we just stab this guy in the face?
No?
For some reason, I feel like that's not a good idea.
Freedom is choice. Is that the destiny that you set for yourself, Bindweed?
Choice? What? Wait. Are you asking if my destiny is choosing or if my destiny is stabbing you in the face?
Which did you think I was saying?
I don't know, that's why I asked.
Do you believe that you would be destined to violence and impaling?
I don't think I'm destined to do anything.
You have the choice.
I just do what I want. What feels natural. Unlike you.
how'd you do the thing with the door?
I made a choice. I made a choice that this conversation must happen. No, and that no power is able to escape its own fate.
You know that you're creepy.
What? Alright, no. Okay, wait. No, you come in here all like choice and freedom and destiny and whatever, but you made that choice for us. Isn't that like the opposite of everything you're saying now?
That is what we will see. Digger, you asked what would be required for you to find me. If you find me, you will. You merely must make that decision. And at that point, he just isn't there anymore. The feeling is gone, and the door is even closed again.
Guys, I'm really sorry about those brownies.
I'm not gonna even lie, that got a little freaky there at the end.
Yeah. A little bit.
I really am not sure what to say from here.
Hey Matt, will the door open, or do I need to will it to open?
Oh no, your blessing is still on it, as if nothing had ever, countered that.
Yeah, I'm creeped the fuck out. I'll drop it.
Maybe I tweaked something a little too much in that strain, and I apologize, everybody.
Pretty sure that we don't all wind up seeing the same thing, Bindweed. It doesn't usually happen. I'm pretty sure that was real.
I don't know.
Oh, whoops. There you go. There's a new advantage thing on the table.
Okay.
Advantage or aspect? I guess aspect would be the more appropriate term. Damn it. What's the mechanical term, Josh, for the aspect, the limited number of uses, blah blah blah?
Advantage.
Okay, so it is an advantage. Bam! You all have access to this. That is a terrible color for putting it there.
Put it up a little bit. Like in the clouds.
Anyway, so I believe that you guys have a little bit to discuss.
Yeah, I'm
Well, can the freaky background music stop?
Nope.
Say that in character. Digger,
Yes.
I'm just gonna say that music is totally what Digger had playing on the computer. No?
No. I'm setting
Aww.
an ambiance, damn it. Also, I'll be right back. You guys have fun discussing this in character.
Damn it.
with the creepy music going. That's awesome.
It's mood music.
Mood music.
The music is actually kind of putting me to sleep. Okay, play a different track. Anyway, so that was unnecessarily creepy.
Yeah, I'm not too keen on somebody who can just negate our divine powers.
Or at least yours.
Except that the door is closed and locked.
A better question. Why was it creepy? It was just a dude. I mean, yeah, he felt wrong, but can we really say we've met every form of divine being in the entire world? There might be members of us that just feel that way.
I don't think so.
She said he was a prophet. Not a demigod.
Not an actual god.
A prophet.
Yeah, and a lot of people call me a prophet too. I'm kind of posing as my own messiah. It's just a name.
Yeah, this is weirder.
Unless you felt that there was something significant about him calling himself that.
Okay, I just have a question though, Digger.
Yes.
If he's just coming to, you call yourself a prophet, you know, so that people don't know who you are, but you can still go out there and put your thing out there. Choice of words. Sorry. Put your
Are you thinking about his thing?
dogma out there.
Yeah.
Right. Why would he need to walk into a room full of demigods? He seems to know that for the fact, and then lie to us and tell us he's just some guy, when clearly we can tell he's not. That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. He didn't really admit that he was not just some guy or not. I'm just saying that, like, yeah, he feels weird, but he didn't seem to also have ill intentions. Considering what he did to the door, he could have done more, right? Like, if he wanted to be in here, he could have, but he just stood there.
Did he mean that he's watching us?
There's one out of character, I guess in character thing you guys would know, and I apologize, I wasn't supposed to mention this. You guys know that not just like your guys, the names of your guys' divine powers are kind of a thing. Like, think of them like an energy signature to it and whatnot. So you guys know that even if it's never been said, transit's power of the way it's shut, that's what it's called. You know that what this guy did to it is called the way is wrong.
I see.
So why would a prophet of freedom have right and wrong, or specifically wrong? Like, isn't freedom?
I get the sense that honestly he was just doing the opposite of whatever transit was doing.
Like opposing forces, other sides of a magnet?
Well, how could he
Maybe.
be doing that? It's still locked.
I don't know.
Maybe he just negates it while he's present. It's either that or the entire thing wasn't real and it was all projected into our brain.
Oh, you know it was real. Trying to trick the senses of a demigod, whether you're in your mortal form or not, that takes some serious mojo. And not just like in a linear kind of power level kind of thing, but it also takes a very catered kind of ability. There are very few even gods that you know of that could trick your guys' senses to that extent.
So, yeah.
I'm just saying that pretty positive that he's not just a demigod. I mean, even the demigod of death doesn't feel this wrong.
Well, partly because death is a natural part of existence.
Oh, this is freedom.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Choice and all that.
So in that regard, what do we do?
I'm still not against the whole trying to stab him plan, but other than that, I don't know what else we can do. I mean, okay, so we talked about the possibility of setting one of us up as an adversary in our own little pantheon. What if that's just what he is? Like, he's just the opposite of all of our parents. And that's why he could just be like, I'm going to do the opposite of what Transit did. I don't know. Maybe not. But it's a thought, I guess.
But would it be wise to set him up as the bad guy, considering he's the prophet of freedom?
Oh, I'm not talking about setting him up as anything. I'm talking about him actually being this thing that we just didn't know about already.
Well, he said he was looking for the four, and the only reason he chose us is because we are working together.
Which is still really kind of sad. Just gonna throw that out there again.
That we're working together, or that there's no other four beings
That there's
working
no other
together?
Right, that one. The second one.
That we are the only ones, apparently, in this entire world who have decided to work together as a pantheon? Yeah, that is pretty sad.
But okay, maybe I missed something, but he just came to say that he was looking for us and that he's the prophet of freedom. And what else did he say?
That he was gonna, like, watch us or something? Like a creep?
Oh, hooray! So after a couple of years, we now have our official stalker. Awesome.
Specifically, what he did say was that he is there to see you and to observe because your decision will shape the consequences of this world.
Yeah, but we said he'd watch us.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, so far our plans haven't, with the exception of the hobo uprising, hasn't been overly violent.
Hey. They killed innocent people. I wasn't gonna stand for that.
No, I understand. I'm just saying, other than the hobo rebellion, our plans haven't been overtly violent. It's actually been pretty beneficial.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I am hanging around with a bunch of pretty peaceful
Hippies.
people.
Hippies.
If I were to suddenly start murdering assholes who can't be asked to throw their fucking trash. Sorry. You know, so I try to keep myself out of those situations just so I don't scare anyone off. Right now.
Well, to be fair, the amount of stuff that they smoke, if it's anything like the stuff in this brownie, they're not going to be willing to do much of anything.
I mean, not everybody is that, you know, wasted all the time. Or necessarily even most of the time.
But so far it's been mostly beneficial.
Sure.
Mostly.
I mean, really, all that happened was Digger's hobo uprising, and I disappeared a whole bunch of pimps.
Okay, so half of us have been mostly beneficial.
Hey, the forest got some excellent fertilizer that night.
So, should we just keep going according to our plan and see how things go?
Yeah, I see no reason to actually, you know, do anything different for now anyway. I mean, like, he's gonna be watching us, well, we need to watch out for him, but, you know, if he's not actually going to interfere, if he's not actually, like, some kind of adversarial force or whatever, then it doesn't really matter, does it?
And, you know, if he didn't let us know that he was going to be there.
Okay, so I guess it's business as usual. Just with the stalker.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, like, I honestly have no other ideas right now anyway. So, I mean, unless someone has some idea of what else to be doing about it.
Uh, I am disliking the fact that he keeps rolling.
I mean, I'm not saying we should just like lay down and accept whatever happens. Just right now, all we have to go on right now is that he's going to be
Watching
around.
us.
So
Yeah.
we should watch him back. Right? Right?
If we can. Ew.
All right, I'm gonna take all the silence except for transit. Good job on contributing as agreement.
It's just
Really quick-
thinking.
Really quick out of character, my food arrived. So what are we agreeing on?
Damn it, Josh.
This short version, just continue with whatever plans you guys were doing, and if you see a short, sad, stalker-looking individual, just be like, "I'm watching you, motherfucker." That's
He's
pretty much what I
gonna
understood.
be around observing us, so we should be observing him back. Yeah, basically.
Who watches the Watchers?
We watch the Watchers.
Digger thoughtfully looks out the window. His expression kind of well, passive but very pensive, as it's like he's kind of not feeling the best about the whole situation, but at the same time, like, not really raising any logical dissent at this point. So yeah, take his silence for agreement.
So, just for the sake of things getting to move along, we'll go ahead and say that that's pretty much where that scene ends.
Okay.
Over the course of the next few weeks, there is no additional signs of your awkward encounter, but you feel like okay, I'll put it this way. Whether I will leave it up to you guys on whether or not you feel like the line of thinking is a logical fit for your character, but at the same time, even if it feels like an alien line of thinking to your character, it's still there. You feel like the weight of your decisions is a bit more than you've really felt it ever to be before. Like you all have understood that some of the things that you're doing are going to reshape an entire culture of hundreds of thousands, if not a couple million people. Because what you're doing is exerting your will over their lives functionally. And that is tempered with the fact that, yes, they are, individually, each of these mortals is nothing to you, either in power or longevity or even importance in the grand scheme of things. The weight of what you're doing isn't relative to them. You feel like what you're doing is going to is influential relative to your own level of importance in the universe. Like, if you've ever stopped to think, like, man, I need to do this, but I could also do that. Like, do I apply for this job or do I keep the one that I've got? Because I could improve where I'm at, but there's never that degree of certainty. And so that, even if it's not a dominating thought, it is at the very least there in your head, bouncing around between your ears, at least in the background. As over the course of the next couple of weeks, you have been working to maintain what you have been up to. To that end, as you guys saw, I did add the second set of advantages that you guys have access to at the moment, and yeah. So I believe we were getting on to year 4 with everybody's plans and such. I think that was about right. Yes, maybe.
I believe so.
I
Yeah.
believe so.
Okay. So, Mind Week, what are you doing with the with your hippies? Emily.
Sorry, I was still muted. So aside from the regular thing of trying to assimilate the dogma into the collective as a whole, start moving them to because of course everything they grow just grows like crazy because I'm there. So start doing things like selling more of the extra produce and whatever, and anything that's not needed for improvements to the compound or whatever, or expanding, then is put into environmental initiatives on the outside.
Okay. So what should we have Chloe roll for this? I'm thinking just, again, rapport. And I'm thinking that is more of the focus on building the community or getting that excess and resources to being able to get more influence outside of the community? Which one's the focus?
Definitely want a strong base. So probably mostly in the community, at least until it seems like they are just in it.
Okay, so focusing on building up the... Okay. So, go ahead and roll... Your target is a 2. Because you're already established in there. It's not going to take much, especially given that you're using your divine powers. It's largely the matter of getting everything organized. Sweet. So yeah, how successful do you want to say that this ends up being?
I'm not. What?
Like, how how well established and expanded do you want this compound functionally? Like, let's call it what it is. How well established do you want it to be? Like, are they going like full like Sylvan elf? We live in the trees because we carve out the inside of them without harming it too much, kind of a thing, or are they just being like super just environmentally friendly about it while still maintaining a contemporary? Yeah, like are they on Earth ships, the where it's like hobbit holes functionally, but super self-sufficient?
Huh. That is a good question. I mean, nature does encompass a little bit of destruction, so we're not necessarily going to go full on, like nothing necessarily hurts anything else. But, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be as environmentally friendly as possible, though. Obviously.
Okay, so maybe some just really like people's residence in this place are Earth ships where it from the outside looking in, you're like, why are there dunes in the middle of the woods? And then you end up realizing there are actually streets, but they on each of the sides of these streets you have functionally what amount, like I said, hobbit holes that follow like the length of this embankment. They go a little bit into them, sure, but like there's solar panels up, there's greenhouses inside each of these places.
That sounds good. Sounds about right, probably.
Yeah, and so they, any of their power requirements are probably meeting fairly well through solar panels and such. Hell, they probably. Let's be honest. That any community out in the middle of the fucking woods is probably going to also have like at least they have to have some sort of water source nearby. Maybe you guys ended up setting up a easily maintained water mill.
Sure. Something.
Okay. And like you said, yes, there's going to be excess, especially for the produce that they're growing, because, well, they have the demigoddess of flora, unbeknownst to them, blessing all of this nonsense. So, they're like, hey, we're gonna grow some corn and strawberries, and they're like, holy crap, this one's like the size of an apple. Is that about right?
Yep, pretty much.
Okay, so every time they show up to the flea market or whatever, everybody is, or not flea market, sorry, farmer's market, everybody's like, what in the shit are you doing? And so now these people, it's like, well, we've been trying some new things, like, they're probably like not going full tilt, like vapid stoner hippie with it, like, oh, it's as much a spiritual thing, man, and it's more just like, we've been changing our lifestyle, we've been trying to be more, responsible with how we're doing stuff, and just it's been working out.
We are ending world hunger.
And so you've just to be sure that as you've been infiltrating this community functionally, have you been like trying to like teach them the tenets of blue bindweed, or has it been largely?
Oh yeah, I mean, like it would probably start as subtly as bindweed could manage, and just these are kind of like, this is kind of like how nature already is. We should maybe we should consider these kind of things, and then it's gonna get more, and then it's like, and eventually she'll probably throw in her own name, and if everyone seems to be like on board, or at least enough of the community, when enough of the community is actually on board, then she's just gonna go full Gladriel, just be like, I am your god. Well, but yeah.
Yeah, And they're probably not quite to that point yet because yeah, it's been years. But at the same time, like, given what she's focusing on, she's kind of having to, incrementally by harvest, as it were, is where really the notion sticks in. Okay. So, yeah, but people are getting their name out. Like, it's like, yeah, we've been following some of the, being responsible in nature, doing the whole blue bindweed thing, and yeah.
Papa? What is this
Yeah.
blue bindweed thing?
Remember, people know about you guys. They just don't worship.
I'm sorry, Digger. I'm sorry. Was Josh? Was that supposed to be them talking to what? A bunch of Klingons?
Why not?
You guys aren't out on the ring yet. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. Toby,
Yes.
you have had an influx of success with your homeless shelters
And the orphanage.
and and the orphanage now too, because there's let's be honest, organized criminals, they fuck a lot. So there's a lot of orphans now who don't really know quite what's going on in the world.
Are you saying that Digger has made a lot of orphans?
He's made a lot of people into orphans, yes.
Oh my!
It's okay. Your daddy was a freaking pimp and a racist. He deserved it. Pat. I said racist. I meant rapist.
I feel like that's like bindweed. It just happens to be there.
And he was delicious. Anyway,
Okay, so I'm having tremendous success with this stuff.
tremendous.
Oh my!
Yes.
Hear Cassie laughing
Tristan,
down the hallway.
Don't have sex with an orphanage, Tristan. Don't do this.
And this is why we're horrible people.
Gotta get to him before the hair does.
Oh. Okay, moving on.
Do you like your woman like you like your whiskey?
As in, I don't like either? Yes.
10 years old mixed with Coke. Anyway. So yes, tremendous success.
Yes, with the homeless shelters, and is there only one orphanage, or do I have multiple in the other cities as well? Because I could swear that I had homeless shelters in each city, right?
You had homeless shelters in each city. I think you were still operating off of the single orphanage because it's a lot easier to move orphans into a single location than it is lots and lots and lots of homeless people. One of them just has a higher volume of people involved.
Right. This sucks. I had like a list of things that I wanted to do, and it's all gone.
I told you to write it down. I really did.
No, I mean, I had it just before you came to me. And poof, gone. I think it was the whole horrible, horrible joke with the orphanage. But, I think with the homeless shelters, I was going to try and help Blue Bindweed out with currency by buying the produce from her.
Oh, feeding some money into Emily's endeavors.
Yes, to get money for the homeless shelter and the orphanage.
I will say, like, if you wanted the food to go to the orphanage, then that and the shelters and whatnot, that would be good because her fruit just for whatever reason they have really good shelf life.
Yes.
But as far as like getting money going towards her side of things, that farmer's market, she's going to be making bank. I mean, when you show up with your strawberries literally the size of a freaking apple, then you're going to start crushing your competition.
Well, either way, I would want to work out some sort of transaction to where we can both be beneficial towards each other. Because I'm kind of seeing Toby as the enabler for everybody else.
Yes. What I'm saying.
Well, technically, Mari's the enabler for everybody else because Toby's kind of funneling the resources everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm saying it would be beneficial. I'm just saying that, like, even if you don't buy Bindweed's produce, it's going to sell. Bringing it into the shelter and orphanage and whatnot would still be helpful to your side of things.
Right.
Also, you can bring some of Bindweed's tenants when, like, her dogma and stuff as the kids eat. You could talk to them about it.
Well, that's another thing that I was going to talk about was I don't want to make it seem like we're indoctrinating them by hardcore, like Scientology, but I do kind of want to broach the whole Pantheon thing in instruction with the orphanage. Although they're going to Mari school, right?
I don't have the school yet.
Oh, whoops. Sorry. I thought you did.
It's a work in progress.
So they're all technically homeschooled then. Because my idea was that any of the orphans that don't get adopted and age out, I was going to kind of put them in positions in the homeless shelter to be Toby's pathfinders. Since the homeless thing is kind of all Digger, the orphanage would be mine.
Mm-hmm.
But I was still going to teach. They were still going to be taught about the all of us.
Yeah. Don't just teach one. Teach the Pantheon.
Right. But in the, I mean, if everything is going great in year 4, there is one more thing that I could think of that would be beneficial for society, and would still fall under his line of not protection, but kind of protection or offering safety, of opening a women's shelter.
Okay.
So I think I'm not sure if I'm gonna open it that year, but I think I'm gonna start the process of finding space and stuff like that.
Okay. So more like accumulating resources and getting prepared to do it later.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, you can go ahead and roll rapport. We're going to give you a target of 3. Don't fuck up.
Yeah, I didn't make it, but I got a 2.
Well, you have free aspects if you want. They don't even require a fate point because they're not even aspects. They're advantages.
Free and
Does
for
it-
all.
Does anybody mind if I invoke "This is what was meant to be"?
Go for
Do
it.
what you want, Crown.
All right, then I'll invoke one of those. I'll invoke that.
You get a +2 on the roll. You succeed. Whoops, that's the wrong direction to put those numbers. All right, so I made it ×4, not ×3. Like, wait a second.
No, I like that direction.
Anyway, so what we'll say is, at first it seemed like it really just wasn't going to work out.
Right.
Just the because you're not trying to start it this year anyway, but just the savings not trust, because trust is a very particular thing, but the savings accounts that were going to be involved with that, you had everything set up, everything should be working out, the numbers were going to be good, and it always kept being just short of what you needed.
Okay.
It was still happening, but it was going to take way longer than you were wanting it to. But then, not really through a degree of effort or anything. It was that it just that deal, or that charity drive where you were only expecting to get $800 came up $1,200. Like, oh, that's helpful. And just little things like that again and again. And eventually, you got to the mark you needed to, and you're like, all right, sweet. So probably by this time next year, we can open up that shelter without having to affect any of the other services that we're already setting up.
Okay.
Also, over the course of this, are you doing anything to directly advance your or I should say, a thing to consider also for the next turn is if you're going to be doing anything to directly advance your career as a politician, or if you are still continuing to pretty much just be a well-off philanthropist. So just a thing to think about. So we're going to move on to Mari.
Okay.
What you doing?
So, TED Talks.
Yaha.
Because, I mean, well, at least, how would my business be going? Can I just say that, my business has been progressing as it was on the path to do?
Yes, there's nothing that had really been affecting that and whatnot. In fact, if I'm remembering right, you did pretty well with your rolls last week. So, let's see, where were you at? Resources of 2. I'm pretty sure that you popped an aspect to fix that. So yeah, your stuff has been pretty well on track. You just haven't really at any point excelled at what you were aiming for.
Mm-hmm. I just realized I didn't start the dryer. Anyway, so yeah, then what I'm hoping to do is continuing to get my name out there as either going to invent something else or start getting into TED Talks. Mostly, like, I mostly want, other people to start working on inventing things, but the way to get people to know who you are is to do stuff. Ideas?
Ideas for what?
Should I do TED Talks or should I invent something?
Or goad other people into inventing things.
Yeah. I guess having people in my company invent things, helping them.
That's what I was about to suggest. Is start
blessing some motherfuckers.
Yeah,
Okay.
Like wire your R&D department and start poking people.
Pretty
Yeah,
much.
because I was about to say you don't want to be Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Because if you have a bunch of people that are brilliant that raises your reputation immensely.
Mm-hmm. All right. So I am blessing people, and I am teaching them the words of the pantheon.
Sweet. I want you to roll your spark of ingenuity then, because that's exactly what you're doing.
Okay.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. Matt, what city is the orphanage in? It's Steel something, I think.
I'll move
It's
you
the
all.
one on the coast.
Do I need a target, or should I just roll?
Your target is Steeldale is the thing.
Steeldale? Alright, thank you.
So Cassie, I'm not going to give you a target. What we're going to do instead is that for every oh yeah, I guess sorry, your target's just going to be 2 because convincing our pre-existing research and development department to research and develop isn't exactly difficult. Really, you're just trying to see how well you do at, frankly, at managing your blessing among an entire business functionally. Because it's not like you can only have one person blessed at a time, but if everyone is blessed, has your spark of ingenuity, the problem is it's going to become pure fucking chaos as everybody ends up with different ideas and wanting to take as many resources as possible to make them happen.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really what it's going to come down to. So your target will be a 2, and any raises or not raises, advantages that you accrue, we can figure out how that goes.
No modifiers. Submit.
So an advantage is every 4, right? So you wouldn't quite have gotten the second one. But yeah, so you succeed with style.
Sweet.
So what do you want your advantage created from this to be?
My advantage is
You can invoke a campaign aspect if you're stuck.
hold on. I'm gonna write it down. Move on.
Oh, we kind of need to resolve that before we go to the next person's turn.
Matt, stop.
Oh no, that's just dirty. That's just dirty.
It's a lot of dead air. I'm like, I could start humming it, or I can find a YouTube.
There we go.
A leader is known not only for their deeds, but for the deeds of those that follow. That is a very particular advantage.
It fit. It would be letting people know. I feel like it fits for all of us because we're all being leaders in this
This is
particular.
your
I
advantage.
know it is my advantage. I don't know. That's the 1st thing that came to my mind.
I get. I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying it's very particular. I'm just giving you the heads up now. It will be probably a little bit hard to invoke.
Yeah, my mind is going for it being her being known.
For her being known, or for the organization being known.
Either one.
So Mari is getting known, or Myriad.
Well,
Because one of them is not leading this think tank.
It is the advantage, right? The advantage that can be used when I need an advantage. So when I need an advantage, I'll be able to clarify what it is, right? When I invoke it, I'll...
I guess. I mean, we'll have to figure it out later. If they're like, yeah, whatever. I'm just. If you cut it in half, it would be about a leadership, or whatever. But like that starts to run off after a while.
Okay. So a leader is known for the deeds of those that follow them?
Sure. So put that one up.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I was typing. Clickety clack.
Okay.
Smack. All right. So, how does your success manifest in regards to you were going about blessing this R&D department?
So during the course of this year, my R&D department has come up with several new new inventions, new technologies, and is, making a big splash in the tech world, tech industry, as it were.
Okay. So kind of a like, you thought that our brain implant fixed to neurological problems was great. Look at all this shit that happened after we started working together.
Mm-hmm. And so as far as that goes, the things that things that Myriad is blah, words, getting distracted. Alright, the things that are okay. Just wait until I'm done talking.
Or turn around.
Sorry, Matt's trying to fix something out on my computer and it's distracting me because my screen is being moved and I'm not touching it. Anyway, so some of the things going on with their company is like, having company mottos and stuff like that. Like, she's been putting up inspirational posters, but they're quotes from the god or from the demigods and stuff like that. Like, so that everyone in her company knows, like, these are, quotes from Digger, these are quotes from Blue Bindweed, or whatever. I don't know. The more you see things, the more it actually sticks in with you.
So what you're saying is we now have another thing to develop some memes about.
I can't hear you, Matt.
Really? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear him.
Or
Yeah,
maybe
I
I
can hear just
can't
fine.
hear anybody.
Ah, Cassie just can't hear anybody. That's great because I didn't actually change a single goddamn setting on her computer. I just looked at where they were at.
Everything's ruined forever.
Brogan!
I mean, we could hear you the whole time.
There, now I can hear.
Okay, so apparently Discord did not like being reminded it was on default default devices, I guess? I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, so maybe that's the thing that we can do that in the future. Be like, we need more memes.
More memes.
I mean, we've already got a bunch that would be appropriate for Digger.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So, hey, what's up?
Oh no, I'm trying to talk to Frank. I'm going to mute it for a second.
Okay.
On to Digger, eh?
Yep, so we're on to Digger.
That's incredibly distracting. So, let's be frank here. Let's be frank here.
Wait, what did I miss?
Matt's putting up a whole bunch of Digger memes.
Digger memes.
So, let's face it. I just had a war. And the first thing after you do with the war is you take care of your veterans. So every day, Digger's spending about, I'd say, 12 hours with his people in the Toby Monroe homeless shelters, tending to their mental health, making sure they're staying motivated to get some self-improvement under their way, get out off the streets, make lives for themselves. It's probably the hardest thing they're ever going to do. And in the other 12 hours, because obviously people would get suspicious if he was there just, 24 hours, he's thinking towards the future. And he's making some tunnels. Sacratoma might be clean, but we got 2 other cities to take care of.
The bloodbath is coming.
No. Going back to the original idea. Help people get out. Places that are easy to travel through. Secret ways underground. Get my people in and out.
Well, don't forget that some of my people are helping guarding that tunnel.
There's going to be many, many tunnels. Many more tunnels.
Well, I might help protect those too.
So yeah, that's what Digger's doing.
Okay. So if he's not playing counselor, he's playing geologist. Or rather, demigod of tunnels. And making some.
Behold my secret passageways.
Okie dokie. I mean... So, really, I'm assuming his focus, again, as usual, is on the people, right?
Yep.
Alright. So, you're going to roll empathy.
Which I should have made higher.
And we're going to make this a target 3.
I got a 2. I'm gonna use one of the temporaries. I'm gonna use...
So, how about that too?
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna be using one of the temporaries to give myself a +2 boost.
Yep, but which one?
I will make my own choices because I'm helping people make their own choices.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, I think that's probably pretty straightforward then. I mean, do you want to kind of describe and dictate how his psychological health and whatnot is going, or?
Pretty much, it's just like a lot of it is making sure that people don't understand, like, don't come to feel like what we just did was the only way to do things, and getting them okay with the fact that, let's face it, we just barely, probably hurt a lot of people, made a lot of orphans.
Uh-huh.
That are currently housed right across the street.
Yeah, that can't be easy. But yes. Let's see. And the other thing is, he's just kind of helping. His whole psychology is like, we have to kind of put that past us. Like, we need to be ready to fight, but our community doesn't run on just violence. Like, we need to look out for each other and move on and make something productive of ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So.
All right, sounds good to me. You okay, Cassie? Would you like a hand? We're having hardware issues over here, and we're trying to replug in a mouse.
Oh.
So I guess narratively, to keep the narrative going, like, you might, like, there might be like a scene where Digger is just kind of like sitting with a group of people. One of the people are like, yeah, but I stabbed him so many times. Yeah, I know,
And he deserved it.
and he deserved it. But that doesn't mean that every person deserves it, or that we can solve all of our problems by stabbing people lots of times.
It's a really good thing bindweed is not part of this.
But did you plant him in the park?
It's like, I stabbed him a bunch of times. Yeah, you did. It was beautiful.
Okay. So I think we all have a pretty good idea of where things are at the end of year 4. So, Emily, in regards to Bindweed and her little, blossoming cult, you have, you know that you have quite quite a few people that are actually, like, actively praying at this point. Because it's been working well. Their lives are pretty good. I mean, it's stuff is working out, and they're not fanatical by any stretch, but they are faithful, if nothing else. Like, I would say probably given how a lot of your roles have gone, actually, the people within this community, even if it is only like a few hundred, it has been growing, for one, and for two, people that are coming out there are people that are not just seeing, like, yeah, quality of life out here is pretty good, but they're already coming out there open to the idea. It's like, I'm going out there not just because of the quality of life. They're not just going because it's got a good neighborhood and a good school. They're going out there because they're like, I want to know why the change out here. So they're kind of already coming out there with, eyes open and everything. And so you're getting, as far as this community, you're getting some pretty easy converts for this. But like I said, I want to say, like, 85% of this community is, like, actively faithful. And
85%, you say?
when I say actively, I mean like whatever, prayer rituals or whatever that she's been teaching them, they're actively following those, like actually using them. The rest are people that, they're not against it. They're just more lip servicey because it's part of how the community's been set up.
Sure.
So the question is, realizing this, is Chloe going to go talk to any of the other four before she goes all Galadriel, or is she just going to get excited and just jump into Galadriel form?
I mean,
Which one do you think is more appropriate? Because it's not going to be one of those like you wake up one day and be like, "Ding! I have reached a milestone." It's going to be like over a few months. You're like, I think I'm getting close. I think we're almost there.
I mean, on one hand, just gonna know they're probably gonna want a heads up. On the other,
Chloe is partially defined by her impulsiveness.
and also partially defined by the fact that she tends to keep herself apart from people. Though I guess it wouldn't be as bad in this setting, considering things have changed. Yeah, alright. Should probably go ahead and give the heads up.
Sweet. So you guys are back at the greasy ass diner.
No.
Digger's got the triple cheese tuna melt loaf.
I was gonna say, and what's worse, it's been 4 years, so it's probably gotten worse and more disgusting.
Well, after he finished the first one that nobody had ever done before, they're like, shit, we have to post that on Facebook. And so they did. Or sorry, My Book. We're going to call it My Book because it's the 90s, so it was MySpace. I think. I don't fucking remember. My yearbook. There you go. So they posted it up on there like, look, somebody finally finished it. And there's like, 3 people in the background looking just fucking disgusted. And then there's Digger like, Neil! Who's the bomb?
Let me ask you something. Those 3 people that are disgusted, is it us?
No, it's all staff. I imagine that you guys would have the presence of mind to not be like photographed in a social setting around one another, given how 3 of you are operating very publicly and whatnot.
I don't mind being seen with
That's true. Mari is okay with being seen with Toby, but
I was about to say because she funded that. She funded the orphanage, so
that's true. But Chloe being there would be a little weird.
Since I'm just some dirty hippie.
Anyway, so there you are. You're back in the thing.
So, everybody, I feel like right now I'm probably about as far as I'm going to get in my little commune. So, I'm going to go ahead and just kick things up a bit. And, yeah.
Kick things up. How?
Bindweed is going to go public, I guess. That's the right terms, right? You guys with your media presence, whatever.
bindweed going public would be interesting.
Well, it would definitely. Would it? If we've been kind of teaching the Pantheon to everybody, wouldn't that kind of up us too?
I mean, you don't have to go public.
Well, no. I'm just saying, but wouldn't that up our faith levels? Just because, look, there's one of them right there.
Potentially. I mean, it
How
does. It
much?
does give. Sorry, what?
Well, how much do the people in your commune know about the rest of us?
A little bit. I mean, we are trying to set ourselves up as kind of a collective. Um, we mainly focus on the nature side of things, so they probably know. So they do know Digger a little better than the two of you, and of course, since I'm there. But I mean, we did try to set this up as kind of a package deal, so you are in there somewhat.
I'm so glad to be included.
Like, I wasn't just gonna leave you out in the cold. It was a little difficult because I'm not the best at teamwork, but I'm working on it.
Hmm. Mari is obviously thinking.
Uh, are you going to be linking your two, Chloe and Blue Bindweed? Are you going to be making that connection public, or are you going to kind of take the Digger route that your human persona is your prophet?
Oh no, I'm just gonna just go right there, and whoever sees gets to see. If we got visitors with cameras, they're gonna know.
How will this work for creating more communes? I mean, I'm just wondering if that's your greater plan or what.
Well, I mean, the idea there is, sorry, um, is basically just to push that from this small group into the public eye, and then we can just say, hey, why don't you go over there and start up another group, and I will always be with you. Because all we got to do is put a tree there, and then I can just be there at any time. It's not a difficult thing. I guess I'm trying to push them from, faithful into, really faithful.
Oh, it makes sense. I weighing out all of the pros and cons.
Hey, Josh, question.
Hey, Matt, answer.
What atrocious dish did this restaurant come up with that Digger is probably currently ingesting just for the novelty of it?
Josh, no!
And also, he's been fairly quiet in this particular discourse.
I'm gonna find a picture.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
Make sure you post it into the Roll20. Also, I nearly doubled the bitrate of the channel. Is my constant background sound coming through at least a little bit clear?
Yeah, it is.
Yay.
Yep, it's good.
So, while that's the thing being determined, I guess the question becomes, so it doesn't seem like anybody's exactly against it. You're just trying to figure out how to make sure that when news comes out of Blue Bindweed is walking the woods around this particular metropolis, how to angle that for your guys' particular projects. Does that sound about right for what this discussion is being framed as?
Yeah, and making sure it won't accidentally hinder the progress.
Hey Josh, can I send you a private message without interrupting the stream?
Yes, you may.
Okay.
That's kind of like asking somebody, "Can I ask you a question?"
No, because the question was about the live stream.
Yeah, it making sound or something like that.
Oh, you know what? That's the thing I didn't even think of. Good on you, Jimmy. High five. See, I just sent Josh messages fucking willy-nilly.
I have found the burger.
Oh no.
Oh my.
I'm excited.
Is this something Josh has eaten?
No, I would die.
Oh yes.
Holy crap.
It is known as the Texas Big Boy.
Of course
I
it
put
is.
this shit on the Roll20. Oh, fire location. Boom. Oh, this is taking a while to upload.
Well, that is horrifying.
Now, I want you to imagine
Just that being just shoved into somebody's face.
normally you'd have to disassemble
Here,
a sandwich like
Matt,
that.
I'll show you the. I'll send you the picture I sent to Josh as well.
How? I mean, how does that even fit in your mouth?
You normally.
Well, he is a snake. He has a distending jaw.
Yes.
Okay, fair.
No. You'd have to disassemble that into separate sandwiches and eat them all separately.
I like the fact that those are whole. Are those pickles? I can't tell. The long green slimy looking thing. Can't tell if that's a pickle or supposed to be like
I think those are whole chilies.
a pepper.
Yeah, I think those are whole chilies. But no.
I have no idea.
To set the scene of the burger eating.
That's supposed to be fries. I forgot to correct it.
Okay. So to set
okay,
the
so-
scene of the burger eating, normally on a sandwich like that, you have to disassemble it into smaller sandwiches, right? Digger has not done this. Digger.
Are you unhinging your jaw?
No, Digger is not unhinging his jaw. He's not going public yet, unlike Bindweed. Digger is like Captain Morganing on the table. Like he has one foot on the table, one foot on the booth, and he is going fork and knife from top to bottom.
Oh my god.
Of course he is.
But does he have anything to contribute to the conversation then, as he is,
Disgusting the rest of us?
Well, besides that, like, imagine how the staff feels. Like, they remember this motherfucker from 4 years ago. The picture of him having standing next to the picture of what he finished eating with an empty plate in one of his hands. That is still their most commented upon picture upon the social medias and all that jazz.
I don't
And
know. I have a feeling that.
walked in, and he's like, "I need to know what else you have made."
Well, see, that's what I was gonna say. I have a feeling that Digger has been here multiple times, and they have to keep trying to top the last thing.
Though what Jimmy suggested was very good. We'll have to do that next time.
Oh God.
Yes. I saw that picture. That is disgusting, and I want one.
Here, I'll post the picture.
Well,
Hey, I'm gonna post the picture in the. Oh wait, I'm gonna have to.
I got it. I'll post it into Discord. You guys can see it. It will be awesome.
Don't forget to. Yeah, it's 5 pounds of. Okay, never mind.
We're good. I got this.
Okay.
So to contribute to the conversation,
that looks disgusting.
You want one, don't you?
No, I do not.
Anyway.
so Dicker raises an eyebrow at Bindweed's admission that she's probably going to go public, and amid like a gigantic spoonful of Tower Burger, is
Not probably, Digger. She just outright said it. It's just giving you a heads up.
No, well, you do you. I mean, if torch and pitchforks happen, try to get to 34th Street. I got it. And then the sewer drain. I got a cavern underneath there.
If torches and pitchforks happen, they're going to learn what it is to be afraid.
That might undermine our aspects.
Well, we did talk about an adversary.
This is true. Damn, this is good.
I like how your eating sounds make it sound like he's pained.
I'm trying to not just do like ASMR wet lip smacking, because that can...
Do it.
No.
No.
Please don't.
No. See, I'm trying to do something other than that. And make my mouth sound full without actually having my mouth full.
Thank you for not doing the lip smacking.
You're a nicer person than I am, Josh.
I'm sure Sirenscape has it on there somewhere.
You know, it might. I'm gonna find this now.
This is
Why
why I'm not
do
a
you
nice person.
hate me? Oh, I cut myself with my own nail earlier. That's cool.
That's cool.
Cassie, why do you hate yourself?
See, I keep asking her that, and she's like, I don't. And then I'm like, you married me.
Like, I mean,
No, I
I've done it
didn't
before too, but I don't just sit there like, oh, that's cool.
Well, this time I didn't prick myself with the needle. I cut myself with my own fingernail.
Anyway. So yeah, that's Digger's take on it. He's about halfway through the burger now.
I will now go on record and just mention there's nothing on Sirenscape about lips. I typed in lip, and the only thing that came up was a flipping pages. And this makes me sad.
Type in chew.
Weren't you just one of the people like telling me to not?
I'm just curious.
Oh, zombie bites.
Oh, that sounds gross.
Yeah, no.
Anyway, we're done.
Eventually, I know how Digger's gonna go public in this city.
He's just gonna come bursting out of a part like your tunnel snake is here.
No. They're gonna make a burger too big for him to eat in mortal form, and then he's just gonna be like, "Well, this is happening."
Okay, so does anybody else have anything to add to the whole bindweed, coming out thing?
I mean, I know we're gonna have to at some point, but I personally don't feel like it's my time. If she feels it's time, then to use her own term against her, she's grown.
Say it in character. Make it an in-character discussion.
Jimmy, you get to make Emily's thing your character's thing before she can.
I don't care.
Well,
She'd be upset except for the fact that it's Jimmy.
for the the gays have to stick together.
Right?
Essentially everything that I just said could be taken into character, So, Bindweed, if you wanna announce yourself, that's more than fine. I'm not quite there yet, because there's still a lot more that I can do.
Oh, that's fine. I'm not trying to get anyone else to do anything.
Do what you want. You're grown.
I will. This was just a heads up. This was not asking permission.
I know.
Just me telling you what's going to happen.
Well, thank you for letting us know. That is very much appreciated.
Yeah, the last thing I wanted to do was get to the shared condo and then find out on the news that you just randomly showed up in the commune and freaked everybody out.
So they're all gonna know that Chloe is Bindweed.
Mm-hmm.
How many? Like, is it common knowledge that demigods have mortal guises?
Nope. Like, it's kind of a thing that's like it's a given in fables and whatnot, but at the same time, like, most people don't really know what the true nature of divine creatures actually is. I mean, hell, most mortals don't even know what monsters come from, outside of a few societies.
Well, I don't know. It could. Yes.
I was just trying to figure out where you could roll 20.
It's on the tab.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, as you're saying.
Like, every time I talk, you start messing with my computer. Anyway.
Okay, that answers that question.
Okay, sorry. First, what were you saying, Cassie?
I don't remember what I was saying because you started messing with my computer and I forgot.
And what were you saying, Jimmy?
I said that answers my question. I thought the burger image was had fucked up in some fashion, and then somebody deleted part of it.
I'm drawing white fill with a white line. And I'm just like, that's where Digger's at now.
It's gotten too low. He has to squat over it.
Jameson, can't you eat like a normal person?
It's
What next,
Jameson.
man?
The
What-
waitress is staring again.
I
his
just
face
stopped
is
being
covered.
disgusted by him. Like,
Hey, Matt. Just out of curiosity's sake, is it the same waitress from 4 years ago?
Yes.
Oh shit.
Um,
There you go, Josh. What are you gonna do? You're literally running into a concern of, do I have enough room in my gut for this? Like, you might be able to push, you might be able to just muscle through. You have an abundance of temporary aspects that you could pop.
Oh my god.
he could. I mean, he doesn't have to poop. Like, he is a god, demigod, or whatever.
to poop. All right. I'm gonna burn one of my own fate points. No. You wanna know what? I succeed with a consequence.
Okay. And what?
He has to poop.
That's exactly what I was thinking. He's gonna have to poop.
Okay. So what should this mild consequence be? I think.
Well, everyone's saying that apparently I have to poop, even though gods don't poop.
No, that's just what my random thought was. It doesn't mean that doesn't have to be the consequence.
We could always make it based off the fact that he is really a snake. Most snakes pass out for a while after they've had a large meal.
Nope. I got it. There you go, Josh. I have now put your mild consequence on your character sheet. Whoops. Helps if I click on the right person. Consequence reads, the prophet of these streets has a hedonistic appetite.
Sure, why not? By the way, is the old consequence still gone, or what?
Yeah, you haven't done anything to remove it.
That's true. Probably need to get on that shit.
So anyway, I just figured, like, no, there we go. That's the thing. So
We were also discussing something. It was
yes.
Jameson, why can't you eat like a normal person? He looks over at Chloe. His face smeared with sauces and melted cheese.
Oh.
What do you mean eat like a normal person? I mean, any way it gets in your mouth, right? I have to approach this tactically, or else I won't finish. The stomach only stretches so far. You have to attack it like a wild lion on the savannah. You understand that, right?
I understand that you're an idiot.
Yeah, let's see you try and eat one of these things. Then we'll see who the idiot is.
Still you, because you tried to eat it.
He at that point takes another bite. I'm going to succeed at eating it.
I win by not doing it.
Yeah. Let's see who gets internet famous first.
Okay.
That'd be me. Hi.
Since this is like, what, the 90s-ish? He's gonna be internet famous on dial-up. Actually, it kind of depends on where in, because, yeah, but still. Like, if we're talking, like, early 90s stuff, dial-up.
They're just getting AOL discs.
I am just barely. It's true.
You mean coasters?
Yes, those.
I am defining meme culture for for generations to come.
Of course you are.
I'm not saying you should listen to me because I'm a snake, but I'm a snake.
It's gonna be like the old GeoCities pages.
Oh god.
Anyway.
Well, once again, as Toby is nauseated by Digger's appetite, he's only going to have a coffee.
Okay. So, anything else on the matter of the whole bindweed coming out thing?
I think it's a good way of testing the waters. I mean, if they don't flip the fuck out with her, then hooray.
Hmm.
So other than that, no, I don't really have anything else to add.
Okay, so I think it's probably safe to move on at this point. We're gonna move on at this point.
Okay.
There's the ingested burger.
It is a void.
Okay. So we move on. That's not what I want to click on. So we get back to year 5. It's a few months in, just trying to solidify things, making sure it's after that, and obviously it's after that discussion at the diner. Emily, I want you to describe any pre-gaming or some such that Chloe would do before she lets Bindweed out.
Pre-gaming?
Like, is there any build up to this, or does she just like wait, walk out one day like everybody's gathered for lunch and whatnot? She's like, hey, by the way, bitches, behold my trueness.
Yeah, that's more it. Yeah, just yeah.
So she's just gonna wait till there's a shit ton of people and be like, by the way, I have been blue bindweed this entire time.
Pretty much, yeah. It's just like, they're all gathered for whatever, and then yeah, just oh yeah, hey guys. By the way,
So what I need to know, because this is going to be important. She transforms. What is it she actually says?
I have been among you the whole time.
Okay.
Very simple. Nothing like earth-shattering or major. It's just like, yeah, I've been among you the whole time.
Okay. I want you to roll rapport. Your target is a 6.
Oh shit.
That is a 4. That is not a 6. You did not follow rule 1, which is don't fuck up. How would you like to avoid fucking up? Because you can always choose to just take a consequence, or you can pop some advantages and make your roll. Or even your own aspects if you want to spend fate points. Also, you're still muted in case you're talking.
I was talking, yes. Let's see. I'm trying to. Well, first I was just looking at my aspects and trying to find something that might work out here. I'm not sure. Not sure that those necessarily fit. I mean, if I was trying to frighten people away, some of these would definitely work. But that's not what we're going for here.
Nope.
I don't feel like the temporary advantage of I will make my own choices fits, but this is what was meant to be could work.
Well, and you can use either one. You can say I will make my own choices, and say that, you know, they are that they, you know, are given the choice to accept that, you know, what is right in front of them is true and whatnot, and to remind them that they chose to and weren't forced to follow it, or this is what was meant to be because, well, you are a divine will exerting that force over their lives. So either one of those advantages really fits.
Okay. I guess in the spirit of do what you want to your own, I think we'll go with I will make my own choices then.
Okay, you succeed at all of this. So how do you see the rest of that scene going? She shows up. I've been among you the whole time. Like, what do you think the you know, it's fitting that you're also like the first person to go in the year and whatnot. I want to know what is the immediate fallout of this happening, as far as in the commune, and what starts happening when they go to the farmers market and whatnot. Like, oh yeah, you're never going to believe it, but Blue Bindweed has been the leader of our community the entire time. And then somebody's like, what, you mean, like, you know, you guys been praying? Like, no. Like, she's been sleeping in the freaking hobbit hole 3 doors down from me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing like some of those lip service people are probably freaked out, and so we got some runners. I don't know. That might generate some bad press, but I think most of the faithful people, you know, the more faithful, the ones who are actually like into the praying and stuff, just be like, cool. Some of them would probably be like, I knew it the whole time, because, you know, someone's got to be cool like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, and then I imagine if there are any guests at the time, there'll probably be a lot of pictures, because come on, just cameras everywhere, as there's suddenly now a walking, talking tree among them.
Cassie, you're muted.
All disposable cameras, and so a lot of the pictures wind up with thumbs in front of them.
Right, right. Um, and I don't know, like, I mean, how it comes to the farmers market and all that is probably going to depend on like how much of that actually got out beforehand, like a whole bunch of pictures got out. Some of them are just like blurry as hell. Maybe not all of them though.
I want to say that there's at least one person who, when they went to this place, brought like a professional grade HD camera, and like you can see the nip behind the leaf.
Okay.
Like there's at least one of those. And everybody's like, "That's Photoshop."
But I mean, considering the produce they've been bringing for a while now, while there are probably going to be, of course, naysayers, anyone who's a regular visitor um, would probably be at least inclined to believe it was possible.
Mm-hmm.
And if it seems like it might help, Biden would probably just go and show up at the farmer's market too. Why not? She's doing this, so
no.
we're committing.
I guess that is the question. Like, how in your face is she being, or is she largely just sticking to the members of the community that she's been cultivating?
Okay. I guess it's mostly sticking with the community, unless people are giving them shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
She is watching out for her own.
Yeah, if there's a lot of like pushback, then she'll go to that farmer's market full bindweed and just be like, what up, bitches?
I heard you talking smack. About to smack you upside the back of your head.
Do you want to see my whomping willows?
I got a tree here just for you, and you're not gonna like it.
Oh, do you now?
So with this being the case, like, is she also getting out there and blatantly being like, yeah, by the way, all of that shit about like, Myriad and Transit and the tunnel snake digger, those are all real too. They are waiting until the time is right, kind of thing, or just kind of going with the implication of, well, if one is real.
We're gonna mostly leave it to implication, unless someone directly asks, because I don't want to potentially accidentally out somebody, because they're like, well, I mean, at least as long as it's like speculation, that's one thing, but like, she was there the whole time, but there are some other things going on.
Mm-hmm.
And so some people might be like, oh, conspiracy theories, but if she's just coming out like, yeah, they are among you right now, it may seem a little more.
Well, I just rolled because I figured it'd be a 50-50 on if somebody's going to ask, because we are talking about in the context of a couple million people. Somebody asks, like,
okay, well,
the others that are supposedly, what. I'm going to say that you guys probably have not been going with you are all kin or anything, but the others of the others of the Vanguard, are they here as well?
You out of character, you could tell them yes, but you don't have to tell them where we are.
Oh, I wasn't going to, but I was.
You can also just say that they are in the world, because the world is vast.
Nah. No,
Yeah.
it's just like are the? It's like yes. That's just all I'm going to say about it, though. Just yes.
no, the tunnel snake has
Or-
been drawn from the closet.
Or, well, I will probably throw it in, they're waiting for their right time. But that's it.
Okay. Honestly, there isn't even really. We're gonna make it a rapport roll. I mean, just trying to see if you end up propping an advantage out of this or not. And we'll. Oh wait, no, you already did the rapport roll. Derp, 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 derp. So, sweet. So that is the end of Chloe's turn. Hey, Toby,
Yeah.
stuff's happening. What's up?
Well, am I going to be able to start the women's shelter this year, or do I have to wait another year?
You would have successfully given yourself enough, gathered up enough resources to be able to open it up this year. It's just going to be the matter of getting through the red tape.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's going to be a rapport roll. It's going to be like really. We're going to go with like difficult target number of 2.
Hooray!
Yay! Okay, so how does that go?
I'm trying to think, because I know the orphanage is built out of an old sweatshop.
Mm-hmm. Well, would you like to spend a fate point to invoke campaign aspect number 3 for a suggestion?
You know what? Sure, why not?
Sweet! Alright, I'm sending you a message over Discord. Well, no, not over Discord. I'm put it into Roll20.
I was about to say you could have put it in Discord.
Well, I want it to be in the recording.
Oh, okay.
Oops, that's the wrong letter. There you go. That is your whisper from what the things that you don't quite understand. Just, I had an idea. That was not mine.
Oh, okay. Why not? I'll start the first one down in Sacratoma in a rebuilt brothel.
Oh,
Or remodeled brothel.
I am a fan of this. I approve. Anyway. Okay, so.
Yeah, I forgot about the hookers.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, thank you.
So he continues what seems to be an ongoing theme and converts a now defunct brothel into a women's shelter.
Yep.
Okay.
And I think in addition to the staff that's already there, I might give some of the homeless in Sacratoma jobs as security
Okay.
because, wife beaters, from what I've heard, tend to go after those shelters as well.
Yes, very much so.
So yeah.
All right. So, is Toby going to do anything to throw in his 2 cents with this whole, hey, the demigoddess of Flora has, is fucking walking the woods of the metropolis? Or is he just going to kind of keep business as normal and just let the inherent influence of it just kind of affect how the indoctrination is going to go through his facilities?
I think the fact that she made herself public, I'm gonna try and let that boost the teachings or the indoctrination.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, I'm not really gonna change course with a lot of things. I might try and go to more political events to schmooze,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, nothing really.
Okay. So we're going to move on to Mari.
Hi.
So, what is she doing in year 5 after Bindweed comes out?
I'm ready to start a school.
Wait, when
Yay!
did I roll investigate?
Ho ho ho! I can roll. I can roll from the perspective of any character.
Oh, fucker.
Fuck you. Anyway. What is the big point you're hitting? Anyway, I want to start a school.
Anyway, okay, so you want to start school. What is the focus of the school? Is it a tech school or what?
It is a tech school. It is for, it's like a specialized school. It is for children. They do have to, like, qualify to get in.
By children, do you mean like 6 to 10?
I was actually thinking, all school age, so
So like 6 to 18.
6 to 18.
Okay, because teenagers get upset when you call them children.
I don't care, they're still children. Mari might actually, care and not call them children, but I am Cassie. I call them children.
I get that. I'm just saying, that's why I wanted to specify.
It is not for adults. Anyway, so it's like, words. It's, a private school in a way where they do have to qualify to start in the programs and stuff like that, but it's not too difficult to get in. The biggest thing is that it does require homework and actually, working in the class and stuff. So it is not just...
It's easy to get in. It's not exactly a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Okay, so the question is, how is this thing getting bankrolled? I'm assuming through the R&D thing.
Yeah, well, to start off with, it would be through my dividends with the company, because I can't just take the company's money and start a school. So it would be through my own dividends,
You can as the owner.
but then it would be the company's school, not mine. Does that make sense? Like,
You haven't said anything about establishing a board of directors that you have to answer to. You own the company.
I understand this. But anyway.
You have to remember, this is 90s business.
So what's going on is that she's starting up the school with her money from the business, and there is a tuition fee, but she does have a lot of scholarship programs along with that.
Okay.
She is going to request scholarship programs from different programs that do that.
Okay. So it sounds like the biggest problem you're going to have is going to be still just getting it funded in the first place, because like the scholarship stuff is frankly secondary from getting the thing established in the first place. So you're going to need to roll your resources, and since you're doing it strictly out of your own pocket, we're going to go with it's going to be target 4. That is a high target because you're trying to do this in like the most personally painful way that you can.
Well, okay, so I just didn't think that it was legal to do it with the company's resources.
This is the 90s. Didn't Enron happen in the early 90s, or was that late 80s? I mean, either way, it's still kind of in the same ballpark of where we're operating.
Thought Enron was the early 2000s.
I don't know. I do it legally.
I get that. That's why I was saying it was an option. And you're like, no, I want to do it this other way. I'm like, okay. It was let's see, Enron founded in bankruptcy December 2001. So yeah, if Enron was a thing that was allowed to continue operating up until they had their big issue with how they exploded, because from what I'm remembering, that was largely where people had an issue with it. It was how they declared bankruptcy and exploded.
And then it exploded.
Anyway, so I'm doing this thing.
Yes. So if you could do it out of your own pocket, you're looking at target number 4.
I said that if it was legal and okay, I would do it with the company's resources. That's fine.
Okay, then at that point, you're looking at target number 2.
Okay. I got a 4 anyway.
Yay! So there you go. So, I wait for a minute. You go ahead and take a few minutes and describe how this school ends up being received, how it ends up getting set up, what kinds of scholarship programs you have, etc.
Okay. Right. So for how it's received, I would say that there's a lot of people who think, oh, my kid is good enough to go to a private school under, this tech genius's, whatever. Anyway, so they think that their precious Timmy is the best thing ever and is good enough to go to the school. But what winds up happening instead is that because of the qualifier to get into the school, it winds up actually being those who have the aptitude for it. And while they are getting a lot of their basic education, everything as the state requires, it's heavy focus on doing your own work at your own pace, I guess. Completing your own projects. The teachers don't necessarily assign specific projects to students, but they say you need to have, this many things done instead. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Okay. I didn't hear anybody say anything, so I was really confused. Sometimes I start talking and then I confuse myself. But yeah. So with the scholarships, they are about, those who do have the aptitude to get in but don't have the finances. Some of them would be where they have to commit, so many hours of community service, and some of them are about academic capability. So, yeah. Anyway, my school is built.
Hooray, school. Get some learnings, I guess. I don't know.
Like, I definitely want some of your orphans to go to the school, but it's also, a private school.
Well, no, I was probably going to set up, I don't know, my own like scholarship thing to kind of help fund any potential orphan who qualifies
That would be awesome.
to go.
Yeah.
No,
And,
don't worry. I'm all about helping funnel stuff to everybody.
I could probably make it so that some of your orphans go, just saying. Some of them might get some blessing.
That would be awesome.
And you get a blessing, and you get a blessing, and you get a blessing.
Oh, great, you're the divine Oprah.
At least I'm not giving them cars.
That is true.
To have to make their own.
And you get an electric car, and you get an electric car.
And yours drives on vegetable oil. Yours drives on coffee grounds.
Water, whatever.
So, I'm back, by the way.
Welcome back.
Jimmy is funding some of the scholarships.
Okay. I mean, to be honest, like, if it wasn't for the fact that Mari just spent shit tons of her money on this, I was going to say the only person that has more money at this point than Toby is Mari. No longer the case.
For this year.
Yeah, for this year. But I'm naturally going to help Mari out. I mean, without Mari, Toby wouldn't be in this position to begin with.
What do you have? Oh, they smell good.
I brought in tortilla chips because I have a terrible addiction. It's called Cassie's Heritage.
Ew.
What?
Sorry, I've been...
Cassie's Heritage, not Cassie's mom.
No. Here, I'll put the picture in the Scions chat with the description. Well, it's just the title of the thing.
right. So what
Gross.
we're gonna move on.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry.
I bet Dick would eat it.
I'm sure he would. Probably on top of the grilled cheese sandwich.
Anyway, so we're gonna move on to Jameson's turn.
Okay,
Josh.
so I think it's finally time I start tackling some of these consequences I've been racking up.
How do you get rid of consequences if you get them?
They're like an obstacle. You have to get over them.
You have to actively do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you had to like spend a fate point or I don't know. I'm still new to the system, so.
So Matt, spitball with me on the first consequence here. The one about the victims in the tunnel. How do I fix that?
Well, much like how he was helping people get over their whole, hey, just keep in mind, despite all of the blood, it's not your fault, they deserved it. With Digger's personality, the biggest impact of that consequence is going to be the fact that one of his big motivations right now is guilt over the fact that there were people that, because of his actions, got fucking murdered. People that did not deserve it. So, the biggest thing is, you have to figure out, how does Digger get over his shit in that regard? Because, like I've said before, you're demigods. Individual humans don't really mean much. But for him, it's more of a point of failure.
Right. So.
It's not pretty like going on his time. I could think of a couple ways, but I'm a prick tonight, so if you want it, you need to invoke an aspect.
I need to invoke an. Oh, right. No, I think I got
Almost
it. I
3
think
hours.
I got something kind of percolating in my head. So, as Digger's still kind of helping out his people get along and start getting them ready, because his big goal in the long term is, once these people are more established and in a better place, to have them basically, like, one of his tenets is pilgrimage, right? Kind of send them out to follow that, you know? So, but as he's getting read on that, we just kind of see like a scene of where Digger is talking with his people, and one of them says something. And Digger's been pretty good about putting it aside and forgetting about what had happened before, but it brings back the fact that, yeah, he did kind of screw up that first tunnel. And he kind of goes to be on his own for a little bit and work his own shit out on his own. And being that he's a demigod and nothing happens quickly with these people, it takes him a while, and you know.
Okay.
So
here's... Oh, go ahead.
Towards this end, he does some things, some proactive things. He goes about blessing his tunnels to ensure their safety. He visits the graves of the people that were buried, and he buries the ones that weren't. You know? Maybe considering that they were, you know, homeless people and John Does and things like that, they probably don't even, some of the graves don't even have names, so he gives them names. And otherwise spend some time underground in his own personal cavern, just kinda mulling things over. think that'd be his time taking care of this.
Okay. So, I'm pondering. I'm trying to decide which one is a more appropriate skill to roll, will or empathy. And I think it's going to need to be will, because empathy is a little bit more of a reading other people thing. So I'm going to have you roll, because as far as his core tenets, he didn't violate anything. It's literally just the oops of failure that he's having to get over. It's only a mild consequence.
The guilt of having cost a lot of people their lives due to his own over-eagerness.
So I'm going to say you're going to roll will at a target of 3.
Ooh.
Gonna need to throw something. Do I have any aspects I can use for this?
Not really, because the closest one would be it's digging time, but if the follow-up to that is bravado is everything, and if you're just bravadoing your way through the problem, you haven't gotten over it.
Exactly.
There are the campaign aspects and the temporary advantages.
I'm gonna actually invoke the change comes at a steep price.
Okay. So what is that steep price?
Digger might have to reconsider some of the things he's doing. And if he's tackling this situation in the appropriate way.
Okay. Having to reevaluate method and potentially principles and whatnot does in fact fit for that. So are you invoking that as a reroll or as a +2?
I have to invoke it as a reroll. I couldn't hit the number if without it.
You could invoke one of the temporary advantages in addition to it. And you do have an additional fate point after you invoke change comes at a steep price.
That's true, but we'll see what I get on the reroll, I guess.
Okie dokie.
I got a 2.
Alright, you're 1 point short.
I guess I have to invoke one of the temporary advantages and say that he'll make his own choices. No, this is what it was meant to be. Because that's the thing. At this point, throughout the year, he's pulled away from his whole followers and basically taken a big backstep on the whole thing, letting these people basically that he's been shepherding go about their own way, and who knows what chaos that's going to bring the next year. In that way, he's kind of paid the price. And then
He's taking a sabbatical.
yeah, he's basically taken a sabbatical and let these people kind of handle things their own way. And he has no idea what he's going to be walking back into. And who knows where they'll have ended up with his guidance. Because we are dealing with some fragile people here.
Yep.
And so eventually he realizes, like, yeah, I might not be doing this the most effective way I could. This isn't the way I am much more of a fighty person who's much better at the direct conflict with the problem. But I could take the harder path for people. And so this is what was meant to be.
Okay.
And I'll get the +2 and I guess succeed and remove that consequence.
Yep. Okay.
Don't know how to deal with the other one, but that's fine. That one can stay.
All right. So at the end of the year, things are going pretty decent. Especially for Bindweed. Bindweed's kind of like... Bindweed's in a good position, really, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we're getting back to the next year. Is Bindweed going pretty much same business as it was previously, or is she doing anything to change to mix things up?
It is pretty much the same thing, except, of course, now that we are out in the open, I want to try to get people to set up new communes in the other cities, to spread the, spread the word, spread the works.
Okay. So sending some pilgrims 20 miles down the road, as it were.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. How is she going to be directly involved with the setup of that, or is she going to be letting the followers do most of it with just her functionally like blessing and backing it, kind of a thing?
For the most part, yeah, they can do, for themselves. They know what's up.
Okay.
Just basically make sure there is a something Bindweed can step through.
Yeah.
So that she can be with any group at any time. But that's basically the only major meddling she's gonna do in how they set themselves up in these places. Unless they're like, you know what, maybe we want to start polluting, and then she's gonna have to do some smacking down. But otherwise, everyone knows what's up.
All right. So I'm not even going to bother having you roll flower power, since that's largely what she's going to be focusing on. But since she's also not actively doing it, it's kind of, going at the mortal's pace, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they get out there. They bring some resources with them. They're gathering some stuff up there, trying to get the word out. And, well, let's be honest, communities are slow to build.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to go out there and say, literally, our god will be here for lunch, it certainly goes faster than real life. That's for certain.
Sure.
So, Toby, what are you up to?
That's a good question. We're on year 6, right?
Yes.
How goes the indoctrination? Since I'm not being super hands-on with it, but I'm still trying to get it.
Much like Digger, and especially because a lot of the people you are working with are the people Digger is working with, a lot of the people that you guys are helping are people who are disenfranchised from what has been their existing status quo. They're they're looking hopefully towards the people that are offering them a helping hand. The people that are in the women's shelter, specifically the orphanage, and then also the the homeless shelter. They're not fanatical, but they are devout to the pantheon as a whole. Probably like if there's a single one of the four of you that they're revering in particular, like by order of priority, I would say it's probably Digger, then Transit, and then kind of a toss up between Bindweed and Myriad. Bindweed is probably pulling ahead simply because of the whole, oh shit, Bindweed is actually real, and like we've seen her on the news walking through a fucking farmer's market. She's like 12 feet fucking tall.
Right. Hmm. So have I been able to recruit any Pathfinders?
All right, and just to double check, the Pathfinders were going to be the
Basically, his priests, essentially.
I'd say a couple.
And
Specifically because, like, you know, you Jameson and Toby have been working together a lot functionally, and so it's not in either one of their natures to be like, you should worship me more than the other guy. They're more just giving, hey, these are what the teachings are. You guys fucking make your own choices.
well,
Given
oh, go ahead. Sorry.
given Toby's specific thing or Transit specific thing about you know protecting or being a patron of like underground protections where it's like you do pretty much protect those that need it, whether it's public or not. Um, there are probably a couple of people who are even if not like official priests and whatnot, are pretty much still spreading the word of that because Digger is the actions Digger has been doing has been reinforcing Transit's message.
Okay, then those that I would consider Pathfinders, those that would spread the word willingly without me saying you need to do this because you're being brainwashed. I was gonna put them in the homeless shelters, in not necessarily as the head, but in the leadership scenario, and they're also going to be kind of like the wardens of the underground.
Well, because at this point, these are homeless people. Like they're not. These guys aren't really the staff. They are the homeless transients and whatnot. And so, I mean, it would work like if Toby walked up and said, "Hey, I appreciate that. We have founded these facilities under the tenets of Vanguard and all that, and I appreciate that you've been spreading that word. And so, if you want to go over to Sacratoma, I will pay to get you over there, as long as you promise to continue spreading that word," kind of thing. I could see that working.
Well, because part of the thing was is I was also with the homeless shelter I was gonna also try and help find them jobs,
Mm-hmm.
and if they're loyal enough to be considered pathfinders, I would probably employ them in, so they're actually being paid.
I get you. Yeah,
Yeah, they're on the payroll.
that makes more sense. Never mind. We're good.
And they would also be wardens of the underground, so if somebody needs help, they can usher them along.
All right. Yeah, I'm good with that. Yeah, so I guess we're looking at having you toss another rapport roll.
Okay.
We're gonna say target 2 because it's not exactly difficult to say, hey, I want you to just keep taking care of the people you've been taking care of. I'm just gonna pay you to do it.
And I got it.
Sweet.
Yeah, I think as of right now, because in 6 years I've opened up homeless shelters, an orphanage, and a women's shelter. I think it's more about maintenance and just trying to be more schmoozy with the politicians than it is to try and expand more.
Okay. And yeah, they're like these guys like not having to worry about other stuff as much in their lives. They're going to be able to put a lot more effort uh into trying to get people to pay attention to you functionally.
Okay.
And so that's pretty much how a lot of this next year goes. So, moving on again then, Mari, what is she up to now that the school has been founded and you have your research and development think tank and your personal funds are building back up?
Of course, you ask difficult questions. I'm teasing.
It's because I'm an ass.
Well, there's. She has been very much becoming known in the industry and everything as a go-getter, as somebody who, is. It's even beyond the rising star that you normally see, because she's just started, successful business, started successful school, and everything like that. So people are inviting her to give talks, like TED Talks and stuff like that. And so at these, at these, excuse me, at these talks and stuff, she is, explaining her dogma and the dogma of the Pantheon and inspiring people. And hopefully inspiring them to believe and worship. Especially considering that, bindweed is actually something physical they can believe in.
Mm-hmm. You're exhaling into your microphone again.
Sorry.
I'm trying to figure out like what made it tonight finally start doing that.
Because I normally mute when I'm not talking.
Fair enough. Anyway, so I guess largely at that point we're looking to see so we're looking to see how well her TED Talks do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's going to be another rapport roll for Mari.
Yay. Still have it.
Yep. I'm gonna say, because again, you have a whole lot of stuff that's been there. I'm gonna say your target number is a 2.
Oh, fuck this shit.
Oh God.
But, so, there's a couple of things, like, because, some of the things I was wanting to do is, you know, inspire people and whatnot.
Hmm.
So I'm going to invoke my actually my first aspect, basically who I am. Can I invoke that in this way where it's
Not
okay?
unless they're going to know you as Myriad.
I was just thinking that it would be something where, you know, because of who I am, I could be inspiring, but that's fine. All right. Looking at my aspects. Because I was hoping that I was hoping that, you know, by using the demigod of design thing that it could help me, but I'm going to invoke my advantage.
Okay.
And also this is what was meant to be.
Okay.
Because while I may not be, you know, as I'm starting out on these talks, I'm not necessarily the best public speaker, but people see what those who, you know, are in the school and what those who have been working for me have been doing, and they actually start listening.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
this is what was meant to be. So, do I use a fate point for using my advantage?
Nope. Advantages just get spent.
Okay.
Oh fuck, is he back?
Okay. So yeah, the TED Talks go pretty well and whatnot. You do see way more people trying to sign up for the school, not just your school, but just schools in general. Because I imagine you're kind of following these kinds of numbers. And so yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. You have a lot more people going into that. You have a lot more people because you said part of it was that you were trying to not be pushy, but push, you know, the vanguard being a thing. It's like, you know, if you all it takes is follow these rules, just prove yourself and whatnot, yada yada. So you're doing pretty well at that. So we're gonna move on. Jameson, the digger.
Yes.
So, you have recently gotten over your shit. When you come back to the people who were more in the know, like the people who were probably the closest thing that you had to your clergy,
Yep.
like they are very well aware of the fact that, like, yeah, any of the times that they've had to do a thing, it's gone very well because you were blessing the tunnels with your protection bless and all that jazz, right?
Yep.
But at the same time, like, as you've been talking with people, you've kind of come to realize that in your absence, they're not a majority, like far from a majority, but there's a troubling number of people who have taken the whole "it's okay, they deserved it" to a little bit too much of an extent. And so you have a small group of people who have, like, they're not really, like, we didn't kidnap this woman, we saved her from her husband. She just, and it took a couple of weeks for her to catch on to it, but she really didn't want to come with us in the first place. And we had to break his leg because he was going to catch up to us.
So Digger has to do some house cleaning.
He has to do a little bit of housekeeping.
Wait, what just happened?
Because he went on his little soul-searching sojourn. See, alliteration would work so much better if I could actually fucking enunciate. Because he was off for about a year and such. When he came back, there are some people who are taking his whole "they deserved it, so don't worry about it" thing a little bit too far. Just not very.
So he's got some fanatics.
Not even fanatics. Like, and there are people that do mean incredibly well. But like the example was, wife was getting beaten by her husband, so they're like, we're gonna go get her out because we found out about it. She didn't consent to leaving, and they broke his leg in the process because, like, well, that way he just can't follow, and it's gonna take us a few weeks to convince her that
Oh shit.
better interest. We didn't kidnap her. We are saving her.
No, that sounds like kidnapping if she did not consent to being taken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but what do you know? You're just a politician. Shut up.
Actually, I'm not a politician yet. I'm just smoozing with them.
It's true. So, what is Digger gonna do about it?
Well, the first thing he's gonna do, he's like, well, okay, you and I are gonna go to where you are keeping this woman.
Mm-hmm.
And when they get there, at first, at least, the chastisement will begin.
Mm-hmm.
Digger is going to make it abundantly clear where these people went wrong and where this isn't strengthening your community by protecting the weakest members of it. This is forcing the weakest member to become stronger. There's a difference. It's important. And you can't force growth. It's called self-development for a reason. Emphasis on the self part.
Mm-hmm.
But then Digger kind of takes a moment and realizes another thing. There are going to be people who've gone through some of the stuff he has that can't really go back to what they've done. So he simply brings these people who've taken this too far and goes, However, I can show you where this sort of attitude can be very worthwhile.
Thank you for not offering to show them the way.
Dig another way.
I will cut both of you.
So, but he sits them both down.
It's more than one. It's more than two.
How many people?
Like the people that were involved in the particular example was like 3 or 4 of them. You're pulling more like 20 people that have kind of gone to this level of stuff. I'd say, to be fair, you probably have like 1 or 2 leaders. You know, the people that instigated it in the first place.
Those are the people who will be chastised in front of all of them.
Okay.
But then Digger kind of simply looks around and realizes there's far too many of these people for this. Everyone take a seat. There is a place where this attitude can be of value and can be of support to others. But I'm going to state this. It's going to be dangerous, and we're going to go to some dark places. Anyone who does not feel that this is an appropriate choice for their life, I would be terribly hypocritical if I did not follow the exact example I just spoke to you all. This is not something you have to do.
Okay, 1 second. Alright, so after that, there's some mulling, there's some obvious deep thinking going on in the room. There's some considerations, there's some murmuring back and forth. They're like, if the guy, and pretty much what you can tell the consensus is from about half the room is, this is the guy that inspired us all to clean up almost all of Sacratoma. And if he is saying that this is going to potentially go into some dark places that we may not want to go, we may not want to go. And so about half of the room gets up and leaves. And they, with the promise of, we will cool it. We are sorry.
I will see you in the morning, and I appreciate your decision. For the rest of you, and he kind of moves to the wall, waves his hand, makes a long tunnel diving deep into the earth. Say a prayer to the serpent of the tunnels, and then pick up a gun as you go. We're going monster hunting.
And that's where I will call that particular scene, as Digger goes to start training his fucking monster hunting crusaders. Alright, so, it's been a little while. You guys feel that definitely by the end of that, you remember that feeling of like the weight of your decisions kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Like partway through the year, that it started to wane. Like it'd come back periodically when you were like getting ready to have a big discussion. Definitely before Digger's meeting with the people that went a little bit too far. But then it did start to wane, and then it kind of petered out. So, Bindweed, just to set the scene, Bindweed's like lounging out on the couch in Bindweed form because fuck you. I'm not gonna hide as Chloe when their curtains closed. Who cares? Digger has his pizza rolls just coming out of the oven, like it's beeping or like as the scene is starting. Mari is trying to divinely fix whatever is wrong with the movie player.
And by divinely fix, he means I'm blowing into the VCR.
And Toby is just going over a number of different reports that he's got about, just he's running a lot of facilities. That's the truth of it. He's got a lot of stuff to take care of.
I've got like 5 facilities, yeah.
If not more, yeah. And so, that's kind of how things are going. And
Motherfucker.
Are
You
we
know what?
expecting anybody?
I'll get it.
I just really had the oddest sensation of deja vu. I could swear I was sitting at the same table, doing the same thing when a knock came to the door.
Yeah, I didn't have as much paperwork the last time.
Digger, you're always sitting at that table eating pizza rolls when you're here.
It is kind of your thing.
I know it's been a few years. We really need to go back to that greasy spoon.
No.
so I'm assuming at that point the door
It's
opens.
like last year.
The door
Yeah.
opens.
I opened the door.
There's nothing in front of the door.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry, I may not have emphasized that properly. There is nothing in front of the door.
Oh, you mean like it's a black void?
Black would be something. There is nothing.
Okay.
So, white void?
White would be something. Well, unless we're talking about the race. Yeah, I went there. What now?
I'm ashamed of you.
Thoughts?
My thought is get the hell back inside and close the fucking door.
Yep, I'll shut the door.
Digger walks over to the door and stops for a minute. And then he pokes the nothing. Just the barest touch of his fingertip.
So he's gonna open the door again after transit closes it.
Sure, yeah.
Nothing happens. I'm glad, Cassie, that you caught on to that.
Huh?
You poke the void. Nothing happens. Because the void is nothing.
He waves his hand in the void.
When you pull it back out, your hand is there. But when your hand went into it, like there's when a limb goes numb, and then there's this a couple of leagues later, like no senses from your hand as it's going through.
So,
Hello again.
oh.
Hmm.
Why are you a dark void now?
I am what I always have been.
Alright, sure, whatever. What do you want to
Is
say
that why
now?
you sound depressed all the time?
Probably because he's a dark void. Hang on a moment. Digger reaches into his pocket and pulls out a quarter. Tell me if this tickles, and flicks the quarter into the void.
No.
Well, aren't you just a party pooper?
So what do you want?
Probably just the usual, end of all things.
Have we been fun to watch?
You have been adequate. You have made your choice. There will be more choices. You can
As there always are.
You can no longer avoid them,
What?
and you must be ready to pay the prices that will be called upon.
What? I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I mean, I've been making choices. Have you been making choices?
You have. And from this day on, because of your choices, they are no longer your own.
What?
The profit of freedom has faded away.
What?
You have cast your own fate.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And then the door is closed again. And the odd sense of it being a weird thing is now gone.
Can I just say I really hate that guy?
That didn't even make any sense. Like, oh, you made choices, so now you have no choices. What the fuck?
I want my quarter back.
It's sitting in the hallway if you open the door.
I go pick it up. Does it seem at all changed by its excursion?
Nope.
This doesn't make any sense.
Digger drops the quarter back on the floor. Let someone else have it.
Do you think maybe we should make a trip to the ring and ask our parentage or our parents or whoever if they might know something about this?
My parents don't.
They're not on the
ring.
ring.
I thought they were on the ring.
No, they're in the divine realm.
Oh, oops. Well, that's what I meant then.
But, ladies and gentlemen, there is a new campaign aspect.
Oh my.
So there's one last thing to end the night on, and much like how whenever we have invoked the aspect of the voices, this again it's a thought that even if it feels alien to your mind, it is now simply a thing you know as part of this world, and this is one that you know to not be a part of. It is that otherness, that other thing. Destiny was not part of this world before this morning.
Oh, lovely.
And with that, we're going to call it a night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Cassie.
Fine.
Distant silhouettes at the horizon. Sing a silhouette, affections tighten. Kindred ribbons bring us from our dither. Rivers drifting vivid and together. Stay by my side. Soft songs in harmony. Stay by my side. Companions kind now, you and me. Surf the golden waves on silken highways, painting flowing braids in sunken valleys. Spacious, full and bold and ever climb. Gracious moments hold us intertwined. Stay by my side. Soft songs in harmony. Stay by my side. Companions kind now.